More than 800,000 illegal immigrants have attempted to cross the southern border, have actually come across the southern border since October. That's not including those who came during the month of March. It's also not including all the people who got away. According to the Border Patrol chief, that number is expected to surpass 1 million this month. So by tomorrow, we'll have more than 1 million people in the 6 months since October. Joining me now, Border Patrol Council Vice President for the Rio Grande sector, Chris Cabrera. Good to see you. We appreciate it. It was bad when you and I talked down in the Rio Grande Valley back in September. Tell us how things have changed over these 6 months.
Yeah, it's gotten progressively worse. Instead of just having the folks that are turning themselves in, now we're seeing large groups of people trying to get away. I was on duty last night, and I think we had maybe 3-4 different pursuits just in an 8-hour period of people, of smuggling of people. It's everywhere you look, there's just more people coming out of the woods.
When we were down there in September, we talked a lot about how the Border Patrol had basically become the border processors because so many people were coming across to turn themselves in. There weren't agents to do chases and patrols and stop sort of the worst of the worst coming across who didn't want to turn themselves in. Is there still people to patrol now?
Yeah, you know, people are leaving at an alarming pace. As soon as people are eligible for retirement, they're taking off. We have people that are leaving the greener pastures to other agencies, and it just looks like it's going to get worse as the days go by.
Where Title 42, which was the Trump-era COVID restrictions and order that allowed the immediate deportation of some people who had come across because we were in a pandemic, that's going to get lifted either next month, being April, or certainly by May. What happens then?
It's just we're close to collapsing right now as it is. If they don't have another plan in place, if they just pull this out without having something as a backup, we're going to be completely overwhelmed, not just in the Rio Grande Valley, but all across the southern border.
Along with the influx of people, obviously comes the influx of drugs. The more people there are, it's easier to get more drugs across simply because you've got the same number of agents chasing more product, whether it's humans or drugs. Florida's AG is talking about this stuff called ISO. Ashley Moody is so strong it can kill just by coming in contact with someone's skin or being accidentally inhaled, that is somehow stronger than fentanyl. How much of this are we seeing?
I don't think we've seen it yet coming through the river. I'm not saying it hasn't come. I haven't personally seen it. But once that starts taking hold, I mean, that's something that's very dangerous, and obviously it's probably very costly for the cartels to move it. So we can expect a lot more violence to come along with it.
Yeah, we remembered video from a week or two ago with members of the cartel on the Mexico side pointing their automatic weapons up at one of the Texas Department of Public Safety helicopters. Are you guys seeing more violence from the cartels? And if so, why, considering they're able to move so many more people across? You'd think they want to be less violent.
Well, you know, I think it's very simple. It's because they know they can. They know that our government lacks any teeth to do anything. A couple months ago, we had 3 or 4 shootings from the Mexican side at our agents.
Wow.
And barely a peep in the media about it because nobody really, the media doesn't want to take hold of it. Had it been going the other direction, you know, everybody would have been up in arms. But for some reason, they're just ignoring it and pretending like it didn't happen so it'll go away. But the cartels use that, and it further emboldens them, knowing that we're not going to say anything about it.
Yeah, it is very telling that we had not heard of that really significantly, considering how much everybody heard about the horse incident that's still under investigation, because at least so far they haven't found anything that the Border Patrol agents did wrong. Hey, Chris, it was good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, great conversation. Rutabe?
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.